coming to a sunrise. So what my eye, that moment I visualize is coming. If you can see me now, see I'm gonna break through the life I knew. Been waiting, the dream come true. Still aiming. If you could see me now, if you could see me now.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Obviously from the title you guys can tell we're not doing a Yu-Gi-Oh video today. Today we are here to talk about Cardfight Vanguard, and I am joined by another YouTuber. This is my buddy Brett. Brett, say hi.
What's up, guys?
We thought we'd, go into the new stuff we found out about Overdress and give our thoughts on the format change that we're going into. Brett, if you want to introduce yourself and tell these guys what you do on YouTube.
All right. Well, my name is Brett. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Show Off Mode, but a lot of people don't know how to pronounce it, so skip that. But I am a music enthusiast. I do a lot of vinyl collection updates, a lot of music associated stuff. But that's going to change. I'm going to start doing some gaming, and obviously, Vanguard's one of them. So expect some of that.
So this is actually his first video talking about Cardfight Vanguard. I've obviously done a couple along the road, and I have both very high hopes and very low hopes about Overdress. I'm going to ramble for a little bit. Brett here wasn't a big fan of the anime. I was, at least the original anime. The V series anime was trash. Now, with the original anime, the beginning of the series was really, really good because they didn't get into like a bunch of mysticism like Yu-Gi-Oh! It was just a bunch of dudes learning the game, trying to get good enough to go to regionals, go to nationals. It made me want to go to tournaments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it became we need to save the world with card games, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I know.
The writing for that series was actually really, really good, and they put like legit strategies and explanations into the show. Like one of my favorite episodes was episode 20. It was Kai versus Kaboom.
Okay.
Kaboom went first, rode a 7K grade 1. Kai rode an 8K grade 1, and then called 2 Iron Tail Dragons, 7Ks. Swung with his Vanguard, boosted because of the sliding starters.
Yep.
Hit a trigger, put this guy to 3 damage immediately. Swung with his other grade 1. His opponent had to guard with a 10K shield. His opponent goes, Kai takes all the damage. Kai goes, rides in the Harlem. Moves 1 Iron Tail back, calls a Sutherland, calls a Gatling Claw Dragon to boost. He counterblasts 2 to have the Iron Tail gain 2,000 power. By doing that, he made that column a 13K against his opponent's 8K grade 2 Vanguard, forcing a 10K shield on that one. On his other rear guard column, which was 15, because he had an 8K grade 2 and a 7K grade 1, and then his Vanguard was 15, so it was a 10K guard just to even slow that attack down, not to mention triggers.
That pressure.
He pushed his opponent to 5 damage on his second turn, and on his third turn when he rolled grade 3, he retired a rear guard to gain a little bit of power and beat him that turn. It was amazing. And it was like some serious huge brain strats. But you don't see that kind of strategy in the anime anymore. Even in G format was more focused on the animation and the action. Not so much the game mechanics until the very end of the season or series, I should say. Whereas V was just ride big dude, do one effect, turn sideways, game over. And it's actually a big reflection of what the game became. V is just ride big dude, get marker, do one effect, turn sideways. It's really, really boring.
Yeah, it is, and that's with every clan. It just seemed like it was all one-trick ponies. It's like, okay, I'm going to ride my boss grade 3. I'm going to swing at you. And it's like, okay. And it's just rinse and repeat. It lost its value, essentially, because, back then where, like you said in the beginning, it took a lot of thinking. Now it's just, you can play anything. And it's like, I ride grade 3. I do my skills, tilt, and that's it. I don't know. I just felt like V was getting stale, and something needed to be done.
I mean, that's what we thought Overdress was going to be, a new mechanic, but apparently it's a whole new format. The anime, from we saw the trailer, It looks dope. Animation wise, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks like Fate Stay Night or season 3 of SAO.
Mm-hmm.
And if the writing is there, it could be a really good anime. So I'm gonna check it out. I'm kind of excited for it, but I'm reserving myself.
I mean, like you said earlier, I wasn't really a big fan of the Vanguard anime. I just knew a little bit about it. Considering that, like, you know, this is like a whole new, not new, like, approach to Vanguard, I probably might just check out this anime series. You know, with everything changing, all the new mechanics and everything that's being thrown in, it kind of makes you all wonder, including myself, like, what is this all going to be about? So, might as well.
The only thing I know about the anime as far as storyline wise is that it takes place on Krei. Well, the Krei side of it is 3,000 years after G era. They skipped V altogether.
So pretty much it's like V series is equivalent to Dragon Ball GT. It's not canon.
Well, that depends who you ask. Because
I mean that's just me, like, you know.
The reason the reason they even did V in the first place is because it's supposed to be closer to the manga.
Okay.
Anyway, now let's talk about Overdress.
Yeah, I know. Well, obviously, all the individual clans pretty much united, and all of them except one, being Bermuda, became a nation instead. And I like that concept in a way because, like you said, this is 3,000 years after Gizeh disappears. So, obviously, a lot of the clans, they unified and became nations, which I kind of thought was pretty cool. But then the more you think about it, it makes you wonder, what are these nations going to be capable of because of the clans that exist in said nation? Like, let's talk about, I know your main was, Kagero, right? And it's in the new nation called Dragon Empire. You literally have Retire, Bind, like, you have almost all the nasty mechanics in one.
Discard, cloning.
Dominate. Like, you have all the keyword nasty mechanics. Like, I just look at that and my eye starts to twitch. Like,
well, it's not going to be that crazy. They've given us a small overview about what each nation is going to be doing.
Yeah.
Dragon Empire is supposed to be basically focused on the Vanguard.
Okay.
What's the new one? Not United Sanctuary.
Keter Sanctuary?
That's the one. They're going to be basically the same as United Sanctuary, focusing on summoning rear guards. Brant Gate is supposed to be Control.
Yep.
Which is funny because if you look at their main grade 3, it's a chick with handcuffs.
Okay, bondage, waifu, here we go.
What's the new zoo one called?
Stoicha. What a weird made-up word.
Well, they are supposed to be about multi-attack with your units. So, and what's left?
You have Dark States.
Dark Zone. Dark States, which is supposed to be like basically putting everything into a one-shot and just blowing your opponent away.
I mean, that's kind of like what, like, for example, a lot of the clans within that nation pretty much did. So it makes sense. And then the one clan that's by itself, that is its own nation, because whatever, is Bermuda Triangle, Lyrical Monasterio, where they're on a big pink whale.
Their whole thing is because Bermuda has always been the try something new clan. Whenever there's a new mechanic, they get it first.
I mean, all I've known for, like, ever since my beginning of playing Vanguard is Bermuda Triangle is I drop my wallet and that's it.
It's because of the waifu tax.
Well, yeah.
I like the idea of them condensing the clans into nations, not just from a lore perspective, but from a gaming perspective. Especially with a company like Bushiroad, they took 24 clans that they were trying to support and keep balanced, and reduced them to 6 nations.
Mm-hmm.
They've already said they're going to be supporting every nation in every set because there's only 6 of them.
and which I like. I like that concept because, like you said, it was like trying to give 24 clans support individually. What ended up happening is a lot of clans got over support, and some were just not even like acknowledged at times. And if they were, they got very minuscule support that the support didn't even matter. And it just became like a two, almost like where you had to play either 2 to 4 decks or you were going to lose.
And then the power creep was
real. It was real.
when they announced Overdress, obviously you guys saw the live stream. I was at work. Mm-hmm. I was not about it. I was ready to just put my deck down. I mean, I had to give up my favorite Vanguard again because you know me. I love my Blade Master. But then the first thing that caught my attention is the price for the starter decks. They're coming out with 5 starter decks at once at what, $5 a piece?
Something like that. That's what they said.
That is a ridiculous business strategy for one. That's wicked cheap. I mean, it's really, really good for new players, and it doesn't make the older players feel as much like ass.
Well, yeah, because it's like it pretty much encourages everybody to be like, well, here's the thing. We rebooted the game again, and I know that pissed all of you off, but have a structure deck for $5. If you don't like it, at least you only wasted $5, right?
Right.
So, I mean, like you said, it's a good business strategy. And, compared to like what most structure decks were back then, were they like 15 a piece?
15 to 20, depending on the structure deck.
Yeah, so like for it to be a flat rate, $5 no matter what, that's a good like way to get people in, especially new players too.
Even if you need to buy more than one just to get copies of cards, it's still wicked cheap. You could buy 4 for $20.
That's true.
When I was saying on forums and stuff about losing my Blade Master, everybody just told me to play V Premium, and I'm like, that's the same thing everybody said when it came to premium, the original Premium, and that became an absolute shit show. And
that it did.
V at the end of V was a shit show. I mean, you either played Gold Paladin, which got hit, or you played Lord and smacked everybody anyway. And it's just like, if I want to continue to be competitive with the game, I'm gonna have to play the new version. Yeah,
like it's a no-brainer, and like it got me thinking too, because I took an absence from Vieira for like quite some time, and then I just recently got back into it because Shiny Vamp boy Chahara was near dear to my heart at one point, so that was irresistible, and I was like, yeah, I'm really excited to play Vanguard, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're gonna reboot the game, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
A couple other things that got announced. I don't know if you saw. The first set comes out the week after the structure decks.
Oh, wow. That's actually... Wow.
So, the pre-release is the same day the structure decks come out.
So, expect a lot of, like, pre-release kits just flying because it's like, okay, I'm going to buy a structure deck for $5. You probably will spend money on, like, some packs just to, like, see what you get to splash in the structure deck. And then if you like the game, you can be like, okay, you're going to go to your, your local store and be like, yeah, give me a, pre-release kit because I like this.
Did you hear about the change to the draft style?
I kind of got a glimpse of it, but not all of it. I remember exactly.
So you remember how draft used to be? You got your 4 packs, you played with the deck out of the 4 packs, and then you made a 20 card deck. Now you get 5 packs at the pre-release. You can bring your own triggers, and the new ride mechanic, the ride deck, goes into effect for the draft.
That's actually not bad.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was interesting that they were changing up that too, so pre-releases are more interactive. Speaking of the ride deck, how do you feel about the ride deck?
Now, I'm pretty sure you've been there. I've been there. We've all been there. When you're at grade 2, your opponent's at grade 3, and you don't have a grade 3 in your hand, and you go, assist, and you do assist, and you whiff. And it's like, okay, let's just, shuffle game 2. I'm going to lose. The whole ride deck system, I kind of like it because you don't lose because you miss grades. You know what I mean? You're guaranteed a grade 1 ride, a grade 2 ride, a grade 3 ride. So at least in the back of your mind, you're not going to lose because your grade stuck.
we've talked about it offline. Make sure I got it on here. The thing I like most about the ride deck is it encourages variation in your decks. Since you don't need a shitload of copies of a specific card to make sure you ride it. Say you have a card that's only good on Vanguard but ass on the rear guard. You can literally run one copy of it now to make sure you ride it, and then the rest of your deck can be whatever. Like, before they announced the Persona ride mechanic, I was saying you could run one grade 3 just to make sure you ride it, and then flood your deck with grade 1s, 2s, and triggers.
I mean, you could do that, but like, here's the thing: we don't know what all the stuff does. We just know what everything is going to be. We just don't know what the cards do.
Yeah, I'm just going off what we have as of right now. It encourages more creative deck building, which Vanguard's never really had. They did at first because you could mix clans, but then once they created Clanfight, it was limited to so much of a card pool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Overtrigger. The 100 million trigger.
Why? Like when I saw that, when the stream went up and they were talking about the overdress and they were going through everything, how everything was going to be, when they pulled up the overtrigger, I immediately went, what in the hell is that? What is that? And like the two other people that were with me watching the stream, they were like, does that say 1 million? Why does that say 1 million? And then we were looking at the icon, it was all 4 colors mixed. And we were saying to ourselves, what does it do? What does it do? And here I am looking at the stream. Every comment that's flying up is all in like Japanese. And I'm like, well, I don't understand Japanese. I don't know what in the hell I'm looking at. I just know that there's a new trigger that gives a unit or multiple units 1 million power. And
100 million.
100 million. Like even more. All
right, so here's what we know about the overtrigger.
Like,
if you trigger it, you get to give 100 million power to something.
Yeah.
It immediately gets bound. You draw a card, and if it's a drive check, they're going to have an additional effect based on the nation. I think we saw one that basically said you get to give a second unit 100 million.
And I think that was the Brant Gate.
And then the second part of it is the reason it's crazy is because if you damage check it, it still gets bound and you still draw a card. So it's like hitting a heal trigger and a draw trigger at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
I think it was just a universal overtrigger. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I had no nation
that'll probably be what comes in the starter decks, the start decks then.
Probably.
But I think it's actually a solid idea because it is both good on offense and defense.
Yeah. Because doesn't it have like a 5,000 shield value?
It has a 50,000 shield value.
Okay, even higher than.
But it only that's only if you draw it. If you check it, it gets bound. It gets banished.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
So even if you draw it, that's still 50,000 shield. That's enough to stop most Vanguard attacks, especially without gift markers now, because the gift markers are gone.
Yeah, the gift markers are gone.
Thank Christ. So, even if you check it and give something 100 million power, 100 million power doesn't get over a perfect guard. So perfect guards become more valuable now. And and you have to think about how you're actually going to guard with them, which again adds another layer of strategy to the game. Like that's genius to me.
Yeah, because like it like the more you think about it, it's like, do you want to waste a perfect guard on something early, knowing that the overtrigger has not been revealed yet, and it makes you wonder, should I like wait until I'm like my butthole is clenching, or do I use it early and then I just pay for it later because, oh, look, next turn they drive check. Oh, look, overtrigger. Well, I just shot myself in the foot there.
And then, like as powerful as it sounds in the late game, if you hit the overtrigger in the early game, it basically does nothing for you.
No, don't.
So it's just like when you really think about like all the aspects of this card, It's actually a very, very balanced mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, again, really smart on Bushiroad. They took their time to think about this.
Now, like, the one thing that I was thinking, because I never, like, pondered as to, like, because an overtrigger is a trigger.
Yes.
Does it take up a trigger slot?
Probably. Because as far as I know, you can still only have 16 triggers. That's definitely something to look into, though, because they never specified either way.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and then this week, I think the last thing they announced was the Persona ride mechanic. Basically, Grade 3s are going to have a symbol, and when they ride over another copy of themselves, Persona ride activates. Your entire front row gets continuous 10,000 power, and you get to draw a card. That is it.
Well, I mean, that's better than what it used to be, because I remember, what was it? Was it Break Ride? Where you got like an additional like 3K?
No, Break Ride was 10K and then an effect.
Yeah, so it's like a pretty much a souped up version of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
I think it's okay. Again, it encourages you to run some extra Grade 3s because it gives you more offense.
Yeah.
Because the 10,000 power is continuous, it's not like the problems DI's Break Ride used to have. Remember how DI's Break Ride was your Vanguard gains 10K and then you pick 3 rear guards and give them power?
Yeah, I remember.
Because of this being a continuous 10K, you can call rear guards after the fact and they still gain the 10K.
Which is always good because you don't miss the timing.
Now, the other thing is, this effect doesn't say it has to be during the ride phase. So if you ride via an effect during the main phase, or what I'm hoping they do, if you ride during your opponent's turn, you can get 10K to your front row and draw a card.
That would be game changing because that just builds defense.
Well, I've been saying since the beginning of V that Vanguard needs more defensive mechanics.
True.
So
yeah.
if they go along that route, I am here for it, and that will push me to keep on playing this game. If they don't, I mean, it's still an okay mechanic. It's not ridiculously overpowered. 10K is not that big a deal. Even in the drawing the card, that actually makes it feel rewarding to use it.
Yeah, it's not like you're losing hand advantage in a way.
All right.
So,
I think that's everything that we know so far.
I think so too.
Any final thoughts?
Well, moving forward, I mean, like I said earlier, what's good is that instead of certain clans being over-supported, every nation now is getting support all at once at the same time. So it puts every nation at an equal playing level. I just hope that, like, the mains that we normally had as clans, now they're in nations. Hopefully it doesn't make us look at it and go, okay, now it's a nation. Let's see what my main does now, even though now it's a nation. And then you look at it and you go, oh, I don't like this.
Well, you don't want to see the playstyle change up. I mean, that's another thing about the cheap starter decks and them releasing the set is if you don't like what the nation does now, you have the opportunity to switch for a pretty cheap price.
Yeah.
Like, a Vanguard-focused Dragon Empire sounds more like old D-Police.
Yeah, it does.
Brett Gate, Control, you know me, I like control decks.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? We'll still have to look in and see what the rest of the cards do. But anyway, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Brett, thanks for joining us. Link to Brett's channel will be down in the description if you guys want to check him out. If you guys want to see him on more episodes, let me know in the comments. Like the video. But that's it from us. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I'll make mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning.